Hey guys, welcome back. Mike Rizzo here again with Emerald and Shoe helping me out once again. Master Gardener Shoe Cat here. So it's a week after we got the bed ready, laid down all that new soil, the compost, etc., etc. You can watch that video for review. So today's the day. What we're going to do is we're going to rake back this top layer of mulch, which actually did a pretty good job of preventing new growth after the tilling. Obviously, there's some stuff that's coming up here, but we didn't spray any herbicides, so that's going to be expected. And then we're going to do something that I should have done 4 months ago, which is get some soil core samples, so we can send that off and get a soil test here. And so there's not much that I'm going to be able to do with that data this growing season, but what I can do is I can track whether or not growing this cover crop and the crops that I grow in the summer actually improve the soil, and then still use that information when it comes to next year in determining whether or not to line or any other kind of supplement application to the soil. But that's what we're going to do today, and then we're going to start planting some of our cover crops. So we're going to plant some rows of turnips, mostly for turnip greens. We're going to plant some dwarf Essex rape. Excuse me, it's a tough one to get out. It's a member of the brassica family. It looks a little bit like kale, but it's got good ground cover. And then we're going to plant on the rest of the plot mix of Austrian winter peas and some oats, just some oat grass, and kind of be able to compare the growth of those 3 cover crops, see which ones do the best over the growing season. Hopefully we get all that done today, get them all on the ground, because it's going to freeze later, and we want them to get at least a little bit covered to protect them from that frost. So stay tuned. Hope it's another good one.
You may not have that bird.
So we peeled back all the dried leaf compost, exposed the soil beneath. We took all of our core samples. We took about 20 different cores, just spaced all over the garden. Those are bagged up. We're going to get them prepped, sent off to get them analyzed. Now we're going to go ahead and start planting. So the first cover crop I'm going to plant is some turnips, mostly for turnip greens. But hey, if we get some little turnips, that's a plus. But Emerald and I both like turnip greens. They're a little bit spicy. And so ideally you want the plants spread about 4 inches apart. So what I'm going to do is I've dug out these horribly clean-cut lines, as you can see, in the garden bed, and I'm just going to hand spread these turnip seeds in those lines, and then lightly recover with the surrounding soil. Now, what I'm going to let happen here is just let nature kind of take its course, and then once the sprouts have come up and begun to establish, if there's any competition from it being overseeded, you can just come in and cull whatever smaller sprouts that are still present, and just let your larger plants kind of thrive and have a little bit more space. But that's the plan for the first kind of 1/3 or maybe quarter of the garden, and then we're going to plant that dwarf Essex rape, kind of right next to it, and we'll just broadcast seed that after we break up the soil. End up at the optimal germination depth, and they're competing with the grasses that look like they're starting to die off, but still they're going to be present here. So I don't think overseeding a little bit is going to be too bad. Let's go with the second one. Actually, let's focus on a little bit. Just on the edge. Plus, I got a ton of these seeds. Might as well use them. So again, the reason I'm putting these in rows is so that when they establish, those greens can spread out to either side of the row line, which if I broadcast seed them would punch out all the sunlight from those other sprouts, other plants, just increase competition. It's not so row here. I think we lost shoe. Shoe went in. All right, so plenty of left over, even from what I kind of eyeballed there. So now we'll just take the rake and lightly kind of recover the side of these. Again, don't want to cover too deep. So lightly rake these rows over. Cover up the last row. There we go. And again, it's a cover crop, so even if they got a little bit spread there, it's not going to matter too much. We can always just pull out what we don't want. So next, I'm going to rake up this next little corner of the garden, and we're just going to broadcast seed by hand some dwarf Essex rape. I'm never going to be able to say that, I swear. But that's a member of the brassica family. Like I said, it's a lot like kale. Provides nice ground cover. It's a really nice cover crop for adding organic material. But because it's got those broad leaves, again, I kind of think it's going to crowd out anything in a soil mix or a seed mix, excuse me. So we're just going to do a little test plot right next to the turnips. Just a couple inches over, we'll start it and kind of see how they come in. Pretty good, I think. Alright, so here we have it. Everything's planted, ready to go. We've got the field peas and oats mix over here. In the middle, we've got that dwarf Essex grape. At some point, I'll get it correct. And then we've got those couple rows or a few row of turnips planted right there on the edge. Covered it up with a little bit of just garden soil and again, some shredded leaves over the top, but a lot of the seeds are still exposed. We're going to hold off on watering today because it's going to get below freezing tonight, so I don't want anything germinating just yet. And that freeze thaw will actually help drive the seeds down into the soil a little bit. And since I didn't go over them with a cultipacker or anything like that, that'll be good to get them to an appropriate depth. A lot of these, they don't want to be more than a ½ inch down. But all in all, it was pretty easy to get everything done. Just took maybe an hour or two, not too bad. And hopefully, as long as the weather stays nice and doesn't get too cold for too long, we'll see a lot of these start to sprout in the next week or so. So I'm pretty excited. So thanks again for another episode, and I'll catch you on the next one.